Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, Mofan was somehow able to awaken 2 rare talents, but kept it a secret until he had to use them in a difficult duel. He is eventually forced to move to another city where he would shockingly awaken another 2 talents. After rescuing the city from a deadly plague, Mofan chooses a reward that allows him to enter the prestigious fire element class at school. The professor there hates him but gives him a 100 ranking out of 1,000 students in the class. The story continues as Mofan does some target practice with his fire magic and some of his new classmates watch. They don't think his strength is very impressive and they can't understand why their professor would rank him 100 out of 1,000 fire class students. Mofan simply laughs when he hears this, and we see what happened on the first day of class. The professor immediately seems to hate Mofan, calling his decision to transfer to his class trash. Mofan, who has always been quick-witted, points out how if he doesn't like trash so much, then why is his class full of trash? One of the students watching Mofan explains that the professor only gave Mofan rank 100 so that they can take it away from him. We see that this is true as the professor storms out of the class while giving him the rank, and stating that he will see what he gets for running his mouth. This is actually pretty bad for Mofan, as one of the other students explains that on challenge day, everyone can challenge anyone ahead of them, and the challenged person can't refuse. If they do refuse, then they will automatically give up their ranking and be forced to return the resources given to them for training. They realize that not only is Mofan rank 100, but he has also offended the entire class. On challenge day, there will definitely be hundreds of people coming after him. These 3 decide to go after him as well, as they determine that it's the price of arrogance and ignorance. Mofan overhears the entire thing but couldn't care less, and even sends a message with a powerful fireball. Afterwards, Mofan thinks about getting something to eat when he sees the last ranked student named Zhangji practicing a spell. Mofan doesn't let him run away as he admits that everyone hates him, but there's no need to run away. Zhangji just talks poorly about himself, stating that he is ranked last in class, he sucks, and is definitely the kind of trash Mofan was talking about. Mofan thinks about the spell he just saw Zhangji use, and determines that his potential isn't bad. His problem is that he has no confidence, since if he works hard, he could definitely become an impressive mage. Mofan wants to help, but Zhangji explains that it's too late, since he has already decided to leave the school after this year. Mofan doesn't want him to give up on himself and gives him an item to help improve his training. He states that Zhangji's problem is not his abilities, but his lack of resources to help him progress as fast as the other students. Furthermore, everyone got into the school because they have exceptional abilities, including him. He points out how dumb the rankings are, but acknowledges that Zhangji is probably nervous about challenge day. Zhangji can't understand why Mofan is helping him since they are practically strangers, and Mofan explains that he reminds him of a friend of his. Also, he can't stand bullies and thinks it would be cool to slap all the bullies right across the face. Zhangji points out that he won't be able to help him during the challenges, but Mofan explains that he'll be okay. Mofan then arrives at the arena where he is called up to meet with the professor. The professor carries a stack of paper with all the people who are eager to challenge Mofan. The professor will allow Mofan to just quit if he writes him a check and bows his head to apologize to all the students he insulted. If he does this, then he can just go home and will even allow Mofan to keep his status as a student. Mofan states that all that isn't necessary and declines the offer. The professor then goes on to announce that 231 people have challenged Mofan, and the first to fight him will be number 726 ranked Zhang Wu. The professor is pretty invested in the fight, as he explains that if Mofan can't even beat the guy ranked 726, then he should just leave the fire school. Mofan explains to the professor that he is getting too ahead of himself, and Wei's coworker wonders why he is so upset. Wei thinks his colleague is too soft on the students. He points out that Mofan was personally transferred over to this school by Dean Chow. Mofan had always been a star pupil, but he is far too overconfident, and likely it's just all talk. If they don't show Mofan how weak he actually is, then his confidence will likely lead to him dying at the hand of a demon. Zhang Wu starts the fight by casting a little spell, but Mofan amazes the crowd with a burst of fire. Zhang Wu manages to block Mofan's fire punch, but its force is too powerful. Zhang Wu is knocked back against the barrier and Mofan is announced the winner. Wei's coworker points out that it doesn't seem like Mofan is just bragging and might actually be strong. Wei states that he only beat rank 726, and there are plenty more students to come. A girl named Smile is next, and Mofan points out how contradictory her spells are since she uses water and fire. She begins with water, but is shocked to see that Mofan's fire attacks are too powerful. Their gap in strength is too great, so she quits. A man named Lang acknowledges how powerful Mofan is and greets the wealthy girl in school named Ding. Mofan finishes up another student and Wei hopes the next one will actually do something. Mofan stops everything though to explain that he needs to go to the bathroom. Wei is furious that Mofan doesn't seem to be taking the challenges seriously, and Mofan thinks about how they can't force him to not go to the bathroom. Mofan returns to beat some more students and then asks for a water break. Wei can't believe he needs another break and wonders if he will have to let him take another nap again. Mofan tells him not to be silly since they shouldn't be wasting time. In the stands, the students marvel at how Mofan has already defeated 50 students and has only been using the same attack over and over. Wei is stunned to see that no one has managed to hurt Mofan at all and hopes that the next person can finally beat him, but is shocked to see who it is. The students watching then begin to laugh when they see that it's Zhangji, and everyone thinks that Mofan will have an easy fight. Mofan wonders why Zhangji is so nervous and assures him that everything will be just fine as long as they follow the plan. A flashback then shows how Mofan told him that the second Zhangji makes a move, he will admit defeat. Again, Zhangji can't understand why he's doing this, and Mofan explains that if he loses to Zhangji, then they will switch ranks. This way, Mofan can be ranked last so no one can challenge him, but he will be able to challenge whoever he wants. Furthermore, Zhangji will get the 100th rank and all the training resources that come with it. Zhangji seems to still be a bit hesitant, and he wonders if it's really okay to do this since he fears all the other students will look down on him. Mofan points out that they don't value him now, and only the strong can be respected in this environment. They already think of him as a joke, and he is already at rock bottom. Zhangji fails to use a spell, and Mofan points out that there is nothing wrong with his magic, it's his nerves. Mofan then completely turns on him as he points out that he is just embarrassing himself, and might as well go home. This sparks something in Zhangji, and Mofan is glad to see that he has some self-esteem. Zhangji struggles again though, and has thoughts about being mocked by his peers. He apologizes while giving Mofan his item back and quits. Mofan tries to stop him, but Professor Wei tells him to hurry up. Not only is he embarrassing himself, but he's also embarrassing him, while wasting everyone's time. Zhangji apologizes again and states that he really did try his best. Mofan points out that Zhangji didn't refuse when he initially told him his plan, and wonders why he is struggling now. He can't understand why Zhangji is so desperate to please the other students, and points out how none of them have ever valued him. Mofan calls him cowardly and selfish for leaving him alone, and states that he has let him down. Mofan regrets saying that Zhangji reminded him of a friend of his, since that now seems like the biggest insult to his friend. This triggers Zhangji as he points out that Mofan befriended him to escape from having to fight everyone, and he is just using him. Mofan is then the one to become upset now, as he states that he doesn't need to escape the fights at all, and was just trying to avoid fighting so he doesn't embarrass the entire school by beating them all. Mofan then tells Zhangji to stand by and watch, as not everyone is a piece of trash coward like he is. He wants Zhangji to watch carefully as he demonstrates that all the students that Zhangji so desperately wants to please mean nothing to him. Mofan then announces to everyone that if he can't defeat every single challenger, then he will bow down to all 1,000 students one by one and admit his mistake. He then calls Professor Wei a gorilla as he demands that he call on the next challenger. Wei is absolutely furious now as the students can't believe what they just heard. He calls out for a student named Jaya to step forward, and the students are shocked to hear that Jaya might actually be there. Wei's coworker points out how Jaya is the student who often goes hunting for dangerous monsters in the wild. A mage hunter student who ranks among the best in the entire academy in actual combat ability. If it wasn't for him offending some members of an aristocratic family, his rank would be far higher than it is now. Jaya arrives to explain to Mofan that the weak attacks he was using against everyone else won't work against him, but Mofan isn't interested in talking. Thanks for watching part 21. I'm going to put together all the other videos for anyone that wants to catch up, and I'll put part 22 at the end of it.